Hello and welcome to today's session. I hope that you've had a great weekend and that you're ready for the day ahead. We begin our yoga practice, as we always do, in stillness. Stillness gives birth to movement. So this is where we'll begin our practice. So make yourself comfortable. Get yourself into a comfortable position, laying down, sitting down, whatever feels good to you. Close your eyes and begin your breathing practice. Begin with feeling the sensation of your breath. Each inhalation and exhalation through the nose. As you exhale, notice that any areas of tension in the body begin to soften and release. This is your time. This is your moment. It's time for you to set the intention for your practice. You've carved out this time for yourself to explore what your body is actually capable of. This is a rare opportunity to gain some clarity about what you're thinking and about what you feel. Breathing in, breathing deep. Exhaling and releasing any tension. Let go of any expectation from yourself and from the session today. Begin your practice with an open mind. When you're ready, start by making a small movement and allowing life to enter the body. Slowly open your eyes and come to a seated position. Okay, right then, so let's get into it. So we're going to warm up our wrists like we usually do. So we're going to come into our 4-point box position. And we're going to just move forwards and backwards. Okay, from there, we're going to go side on. Hands are just outside of shoulder width. Remember, we're just warming into the shoulders. As we come through the center, we're going to get that shoulder protraction on, sending the shoulders up towards the ceiling. 5 to 8 movements. Doesn't have to be crazy. Remember, this is your warm-up, not your workout. This is your opportunity just to feel where the body's at. Okay, so here we are. Again, I'm just going to apply a little bit of pressure here. If it's too much, remember that you can just bring your fingers closer to the knees, and that's just going to offset any of that discomfort that may be building up in the wrists. I'm a little bit more flexible, so I can be here. As we warm into that, we can take that stretch a little bit deeper, work through the extensors that run through the fingers, and lift the heel of the palm off the floor. Okay, let's shake it up now. We're going to come to our Namaste, which is our low yogi squat. And let's just rehab the wrists out. Any micro movements that feel good to you, so let's just open up them hip flexors a little bit more. Elbows are in line with the wrists. And again, just whatever feels good to you today. Little counter stretch on there. Shake it out. Okay, next, we're going to work into the quad. So you can use a wall for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to be in this lunge position. You're going to take your back foot, you're going to place it onto the wall. You're going to be nice and tall, and you should feel a stretch down the quad. Now again, we're going to be building on this to the point where you're not going to need the wall, and we're also going to be looking at ways to use props later on down the line as well to get more out of this stretch. But right now, we're just going to be here, feel the engagement in the quad, and just hold. Make sure your hips are nice and square, feeling that stretch and just breathing into it. Now, if you have practiced the breathing scales that we did in Yoga Ignition, you can use them here. Remember that when we're exhaling, we'll get more muscular release and we can get a little bit deeper into that stretch. Okay, let's drop out of that. I'm going to change sides. And away we go. Can everyone feel that stretch? If you can, just type in the comments section below. Let me know how it's feeling. If it's not accessible, let me know in the instructor portal so I can make sure that when it comes to this kind of stuff, that we can get the demonstrations into the sessions, yeah? Or I can send you a private video if that's if you're going to find that beneficial also. Okay, let's ease out of that. We're going to come into our first straddle of the day. We just want to get a little bit of activation here. We're not going to hold this for too long. Any micro movements that you want to add, whatever feels good to you, remember it is still part of your warm-up. Okay, let's ease out of that. Okay, we're going to go into our basic vinyasa. So whichever version that you have practiced in the past, if you need to drop the knees when we pass through chaturanga, feel free to do so. Otherwise, we're going to go through the high plank version and we will go through 5 rounds of this. Okay, so let's get into our high plank. Come into our down dog, readjust, and let's gently start moving the heels off the floor, alternating each time, pressing the floor away. Drive the body forwards. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Through our chaturanga. Breathe in, up dog. Breathe out, downward dog. Onto the balls of the feet, right over to the side of the feet. Drive the body forwards. We're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drive the body forwards. Breathe in, up dog. Breathe out, downward dog. Double heel pulse. Drive the body forwards. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down we come. Breathe in. Breathe out. Drive it forwards. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down we come. Breathe in. Breathe out. Forwards we come. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down we come. Breathe in. Breathe out. Into your modified child's pose. Stay in child's pose for 3 to 5 breaths. When you come out, let's rehab those wrists out. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, so to finish up the warm-up, what we're going to do is we're going to do a basic sun salutation. So we're going to start in our high plank. Into a down dog. Going to drop the butt towards the heels and then step forward. Step, step, lift halfway. Forward fold. Sweep up. Hands to heart. Hollow out the body so we get the abs engaged. Breathe in, back bend. All the way down. Lift halfway. Forward fold, step back to high plank and through chaturanga. Breathe in. Breathe out. Readjust. Ball of the feet. Drop the butt. Step forwards. Step, step. Lift halfway. Feel that stretch in the back of the legs. Forward fold. Breathe in. Hands to heart. Back bend. All the way down. Lift halfway. Forward fold. Step back through chaturanga. Breathe in. Round 3. Step, step, lift onto the balls of the feet. Drop the butt towards the heels. Step forward. Step, step, lift halfway. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sweep up. Hands to heart. Hollow that body out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift halfway. Forward fold. Step back into high plank. Through our chaturanga. Breathe in. Going into round 4. Breathe out. Step, step. Drop the butt. Step forwards. Step, step. Lift halfway. Forward fold. Breathe in. Breathe out. Back bend. Breathe out. Lift halfway. Forward fold. Step back into high plank. Through chaturanga. Breathe in. Last round. Readjust. Drop the butt towards the heels. Step. Step. Lift halfway. Forward fold. Sweep up. Hands to heart. Back bend. All the way down. Lift halfway. Forward fold. Step. Step. Through chaturanga for the last time. Breathe in, up dog. Bring the big toes together. Separate the knees. And enter your modified child's pose. Take 3 to 5 breaths in child's pose, and we're going to move on to the next section. Okay, let's do this. Right, so next we're going to work the core. We're going to go into our knee to elbows. We're just going to do 1 round per side, and we're going to go for 6 reps. Let's not blast these out. Let's try and bring the movement in line with the breath. Okay, so let's all go together. So we're going to start in, you guessed it, high plank. I'm going to start with my right leg. So I'm going to breathe in, breathe out. 6. Reset, change sides. Relax. Take child's pose if you need it. Stay in child's pose if you need to, 3 to 5 breaths. Rehab your wrists out. So we're going to stay with the core. Now, we're going to be doing a modified version of the knees to elbow. And what we're actually going to do is we're going to go across the body. So you want to be thinking opposite knee to opposite elbow. Again, we're only looking at a short amount of reps, small rep value, 6 per side. So the main difference for this is when we're going across the body, we're going to be working more into a little bit into the obliques, but also the intercostal muscles between the ribs as well. Okay? Same principle still applies, that we still want to keep the knee relatively high as far as its connection with the elbow is concerned. So let's just get into it. Again, we're going to go through high plank. Sorry, Jody, Dave, sorry, I know how much you love these, but this is it. This is where the magic comes. Okay, so let's come into our high plank. Right leg, breathe in. Breathe out, opposite knee, opposite elbow. Change sides, breathe in. High plank. Drop the knees. Child's pose. Breathing deep. Making sure you get on top of your breath. Okay, next. So we're going to look at some scapular shrugs now. We're familiar with these. So we're going to do it from our high plank position. So we want to make sure that the hands are just outside of shoulder width. Shoulder protraction, posterior pelvic tilt. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and release for 10. Relax. Little counter stretch on the wrists. Take out some of that pressure. Make sure that when we're in our top position, that the midsection isn't hammocking towards the floor. We want to keep all that good engagement using our posterior pelvic tilt, yeah? Okay, shake it out. We go again. Hands outside of shoulder width. Imagine you have a pencil between your shoulder blades. You want to grab that pencil. Okay, here we go. And 10. Relax. Shake it out. We're going to stay with the core. Lots of core today, lots of shoulders, straight arm scapular strength. If you're watching this on the replay, feel free, stop the video, take more of the recovery that you need, okay? Excuse me. Right, okay. So next we're going to go into a forearm plank. So we didn't explore this in the ignition course. We looked at more of the sort of like basic plank and high plank and side planks. But we're going to look at the forearm plank today. We're going to go for approximately 60 seconds, okay? So before we get into this, there's just a couple of things that you need to check in with. So if you've done a forearm plank in the past and you've brought your hands together like this, well, you're not going to be doing that anymore. Yeah, we're going to come from this position to this position. palms nice and flat. Yeah, we've got about a forearm's distance between the elbows. So basically, you want to make sure that the elbows are directly below your shoulders and that the wrist is in line with your elbow. Now, the reason that we're going to be doing it this way is that when we're here in this triangulated position, as far as the arms are concerned, there's very limited lat engagement. As soon as I come here, I feel the lats are engaged. Now, the lats are very big muscles, and when you stimulate them, they get strong really, really quickly. But you have to make sure that you're stimulating them, otherwise they won't get strong. Now, these are really big muscles, yeah? So, and they're going to help with all our hand balancing, whether it's handstands, crows, whatever. We want to strengthen these big boys out. Okay, so let's come down into our forearm plank. We're going to hold for 60 seconds. Still want the shoulder protraction, still want the posterior pelvic tilt and hold. Press through the elbows. Halfway. Ease out. Modified child's pose. Stay in child's pose momentarily. It never ceases to amaze me that even though with isometrics like the planks, that how much cardio is involved in actually staying still. The more you practice it, the more you can practice your breathing scale with these isometrics, and your breathing practice will just get so much better and better and better. Okay, well, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is that, well, do you like the good news first or do you want the bad news? Well, the bad news is, I'll tell you the bad news first because people usually want it that way. There's one more plank, okay? The good news is that it's only very short, yeah? So we're going to put some movements actually behind our forearm plank, and we're going to look at forearm plank, knees to elbow. Okay, so let's come back into forearm plank. We're only going to do 5 reps at 2 sets per side. So we're going to come back into our forearm plank. I'm going to start with my right leg. My right foot is elevated off the floor, and I'm going to drive the knee towards the elbow or tricep. So 5. Change. 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 Child's pose. I know, I sound like Darth Vader when I'm breathing. I can't help that. I'm a big Star Wars geek. Big Star Wars geek. Okay, right, so from there, we are going to go into some of our conditioning now for our hand balancing. And what we're going to look at is our dolphin press. So we are only going to do 2 rounds of this. Now the first round I'm going to do with progression number 1. Just for those of you that are new coming into this and didn't do yoga ignition. If you didn't do yoga ignition, it is available for purchase. So go and look at that and you can go through that course as well. Okay, right, so dolphin press. I'm going to come into a down dog. Let's drop one elbow at a time. Drop, drop, step, step. 1. Relax. Rehab the wrist out. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, we're going to go again, round number 2. This time, I'm going to go with the double drop. So if you're at the double drop, great. If not, just stay with the drop, drop, step, step version. Okay, progression number 1. Make sure that the head is not touching the floor also. Doesn't matter if it's only like a centimeter away from the floor, so long as it's not touching, that's the main thing. Okay, so let's come into our down dog. Let's drop for 5. Shake it out. Shake, shake, shake. Okay, next. Okay, so next, we're going to get into some extensors now, some extensor work. This is going to help with your grip strength. So we're going to go for approximately 60 seconds, but we're going to do it from our malos now. So what we're looking for is for the thumb to meet the 2 fingers in the middle. And when we open, we want the hand to go as wide as it can and then back to this position. It's not this, yeah? It's not clenching your fist. Okay, so for about 60 seconds. Okay, so let's go. About 10 seconds left. Probably feel that in your forearms, or you should be feeling it in your forearms now. You may have even lost a little bit of coordination when doing this, as your energy stores deplete. Okay, and relax, shake it out. That's one of those things that, yeah, it's simple, just like the shoulder pumps, which we're going to go into next. It seems simple, and it is very simple, but it can be very challenging. Okay, so we are going to be revisiting that over the next few weeks, yeah, and you will notice there will be a noticeable change in your grip strength over the next 4 weeks. Okay, so having said that, we're going to go into our shoulder pumps. Okay, so we're going to move into some shoulder pumps now. This is going to not only build strength, but it's going to work a little bit of that plasticity into the shoulders. Right, so arms up and away we go. We're going to go for 60 seconds. So pump away. If the deltoids start to burn out, just bring your shoulders down, roll them out, and then just get straight back in. It doesn't have to be an incredibly big movement. You're just looking to where your natural range of movement is. If you feel a pressure build up in the neck, just ease out, back off the stretch, or bring the arms down and just roll your neck out and rehab your neck out. You feeling that burn? I bet you are. I bet you're feeling the burn. Come on, let's pick up the pace. And and relax. Roll them shoulders out. Okay. How was that? Bet that felt. Feel them deltoids crying out for us to stop. Well, the time is up, so we're going to move on now. Okay, so here we go. Right, next, we're going to go into our tiptoe knee lifts. Now, we're just going to do 1 set of 10 of this. Now, just like in the ignition course, don't focus on the reps. If you can only do 5 with good form, 3, 5, just stick with that. The numbers will come in time. At this moment in time, they're kind of irrelevant. Yeah, we want to focus in on the good technique. So we're going to build on this in the next exercise as well. Okay, so let's bring our feet together. We're on the balls of the feet. Push our palms together as hard as we can. We're going to amplify that now by bringing the elbows in line with the wrists. You'll feel that noticeable change in the pressure build-up. Use your upper body as a counterbalance and drop the knees to the floor gently for 10. Relax. Let's get a little counter stretch now on the top of the feet. Left hand is back behind the body. Right hand, right knee. I'm just going to lift. Get a little bit of a stretch on the top of the foot. Doesn't have to be anything too extreme. Remember, you should be able to breathe as normal when you're stretching out. Okay, change sides. Right, so what we're going to move into next is an add-on to the tiptoe knee lift, and it's going to be heel to toe lifts. Now, this is also a progression for a pistol squat, which is a single leg squat. Now, which is something also that we will be exploring in this course. So let's come back onto our tiptoes. We want the same principles that apply to set up. Hands together, squeeze as hard as you can. Bring the elbows in line with the wrists to amplify that. Okay, drop the knees to the floor gently and then onto the heels for 10. Okay. If you want to get a counter stretch on the top of your feet, go for it. Let me know if this was accessible to you. If it wasn't, you can use yoga blocks to actually help with that. Yeah. So you'd be here like so. Drop the knees to the floor, and then you can use them just to add a little bit more stability. Now, this does promote good ankle flexibility and mobility. So if you can't get it today, don't worry about it. It's one of those things that does require practice. And as I always say, practice makes better. It doesn't make perfect, just makes it better. 2 minutes of practice is better than 0 minutes. So make a mental note, or even get a notebook, journal, write down the things that you struggled with today, and they're the things that you can be practicing in your own time. Yeah, this is going to help to strengthen those weak links and overall make you stronger and allow you to experience your body and how it interacts with the world around it in a much more enjoyable way. Okay, right, so we're going to move on. Right, so next we are going to get into our wall handstands. Now, we're only going to do 2 rounds at 10 seconds a piece, and we're going to take some nice recovery afterwards. So we want to be about a leg's distance away from the wall. We're going to do this just like we did in yoga ignition. So we're looking at about a 45-degree angle, and we're going to build on this over the next few weeks. So hands down onto the floor, leg up, hold, Down we come with control. Let's rehab the wrists out. Shake it out. Just remember that if you're watching this, you can either pause the video and go and find a space to do this, or you can always come back, revisit the video and practice this later, okay? So I'm gonna go into round number 2. So if you're ready, you've had enough rehab on the wrists, let's go for round 2. And down we come. Rehab the wrists out. Get on top of your breath. Practice one of your breathing scales that we looked at on the yoga ignition, and we'll move on. So we are going to need our yoga blocks today, actually. So if you don't have yoga blocks, you can use books to stack some books. Whatever it is that you're going to use, we want about a can be about a hand's height. Yeah. Right. So we looked at Lalasana in yoga ignition. Well, we're going to look at it again in a bit more detail throughout this course as well. So we're going to look at Lalasana lifts today, and we're going to use our blocks for this. So just allow me to demonstrate just one time, and then we'll do 2 sets of 5. There'll be no holding of any kind in terms of like the last rep. We're not going to hold that for 5 seconds. We're just going to rep this out. Okay, so here we go. So the blocks, or whatever platform you've got, they're in line with the knees. You're going to drive the body forwards, and you're going to lift the knees towards the chest. Now, as you can see, my feet come off the floor, and I'm coming down with a level of control. I'm not just dropping out of it and clunking down onto the floor. So actually, in the first set, we'll do a progression to this, and then we'll have a look at this version in set number 2. Okay, so drive the body forward. You're going to keep the feet on the floor, and you're just going to drive the knees towards the chest. So lift for 5. Okay. It's worth noting as well that the higher the blocks are, the more accessible this movement will become. Yeah. So if you find it hard to do with a platform of this size, then just increase the height, and it will become more accessible for you for wherever you are. Okay. So round number 2, we're going to attempt to lift the feet off the floor as well. So here we go. Drive the body forwards, lift for 5. So how did you do? Let me know in the instructor portal where you are with this. Like I said, it's going to be something that we're going to continue to revisit over the next 4 weeks. And if you can't get it today, don't worry about it. Just keep your hand in on the practice. Okay, next. Right, so I'm going to get into some core work now before we get into our stretches and our Shavasana. So what we're going to look at here is an alternating leg crunch. So we're going to go for 2 sets of 10 on this. You're going to come down onto your back, feet up like so, and you're going to alternate to crunch. Okay, so 20 in total, and we'll do 2 sets, and then we'll be into our stretching. Okay, so let's go. Into your bridge pose, press to the heels, hands together, 70s cop, index finger towards the heels, shoulder blades together slightly. Breathing deep. Down we come. Legs up. And away we go. Into bridge pose. Sorry, I was getting a little bit carried away there. You got extra. You got extra. You should know me by now anyway. You know my counting is awful. Okay, shoulder bridge. Breathe in. And relax. Okay, so next we're going to move into our cool down. So here we go. Ay, ay, ay. Nearly there now. Nearly there. Right, just make yourselves comfortable. Don't be jumping about or anything because I'm going to go straight away. Okay, so the first stretch that we're going to actually get into is our pigeon. So we're going to start in high plank. I know, high plank is not stretching, yeah? We're just going to use it as a way to get into this. Okay, so high plank, I'm going to start with my right leg. Breathe in, breathe out. Opposite ankle to opposite wrist. So if you can't get your ankle towards your wrist, don't worry about it. Just change the angle slightly, whatever makes it accessible for you. Okay, so we're going to be here for about 30 seconds. You can add any micro movement that you want, as we do with all our stretches. Down we come. You can rest your head on the back of your palms. Let's ease out of that. Come back into our high plank. We're going to go off to the opposite side. Breathe in, breathe out. Opposite ankle towards opposite wrist. You will feel that one side is more accessible than the other. My left side is a lot tighter than my right side. And we come. Slowly ease out. We're going to go to our head to knee pose. So left foot on the inside of that right thigh. We're going to breathe in, breathe out. Remember, where it's accessible for you is where it's right for you. If this is too much or you can't reach it, don't worry about it. You can be here, here, wherever is comfortable for you. Engaging, but you can still breathe. Slowly ease out. You're going to change sides. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. Slowly ease out. Let's come onto our backs now. Let's roll the knees out. Work both directions. Extend your right leg. Take your right hand onto your right knee. Pull it across the right side of the body as we go into our spinal twist. Reset the back. Slowly ease out. Extend the left leg this time. Left hand, right knee. Pull it across the left side of the body. Extend the right arm. If the shoulder's slightly elevated, don't worry about it. Let's slowly ease out of that now. Again, let's just roll the knees out for one last time. Keep your feet together. Separate the heels. Now separate the big toes. Arms at the side. Bring the shoulders together slightly. We're going to enter your Shavasana. I'm going to make the screen dark just so you can focus in on yourself and on your breathing. Okay, here we go. Guys, I'd just like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude and thank you for getting involved today onto today's session. I want you to take your time now. Get yourself nice and comfortable. Relax. This has been a very challenging session, so now it's time to just relax and release. Take each inhalation and exhalation through the nose. Breathing in, filling the belly, and releasing. Breath is life. Breathe in this new energy. As you breathe out, exhale all tension and negativity. Take this moment to thank yourself for showing up and serving yourself, showing yourself this pure love for yourself and all the self-care that you've given towards yourself today. This is your moment. This is your time. Breathe and release. Feeling whatever you need to feel, good or bad. Allow it to pass through your emotions, through your mind, and let it go. Accept what is, embrace what you have control of, and disregard all else. Breathe. Just breathe. This is your moment to simply be. If you want to take more time in Shavasana, take all the time you need. For those of you that are ready, bring yourself back into the room, back into your environment, very slowly and gently. Micro movements, bringing life back to the body. Slowly open your eyes. Guys, thank you for allowing me to share my practice with you. All the gratitude in the world for showing up today. Have a fantastic day. It's your day. Go and get it. Make it the best that it can be. Until the next session, Namaste.